of all, I think your analysis was very straight-lined. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing funds.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got nothing.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Tomorrow, Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
Chinese critic.
erratic
Mikhail
detective
Rodriguez.
is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, good, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Kingdom, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Good evening. Pleasant Monday evening to you from Georgetown, Guyana, in Queenstown, where our studios are. We have our guest this evening, one of the most focused person in Georgetown. I mean, the focus is on him because everywhere you go in Georgetown, people are speaking about the ubiquity of garbage. But I have known him for quite a long time, and I would say without any hesitation, our guest this evening is one of the more open-minded politicians that I have encountered. I have known the mayor, His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Mentor, Alfred Mentor, for quite some time. And I can say with definitiveness, he has a very open approach to people from other opposing ideologies, opposing political parties. I would say he's one of the better politicians Guyana produced in terms of you could sit down around the table and you could come to compromise. I think you know by now our guest is the Mayor of Georgetown. When he was Deputy Mayor of Georgetown, he graced our studio, and now he's in the driver's seat. My co-host, of course, is Akash Persaud. I think this will be the last show of Akash Persaud because I'm going to expel him for trying to embarrass my friend, the Mayor of Georgetown. Akash has been doing a 10 minutes program for a couple of weeks called Garbage City. And when you think about garbage, you think about what is the mayor doing? So I would not be surprised if the mayor, turned to him and dress him down. But welcome to the Mayor of Georgetown, and we will discuss the ubiquity of garbage from the beginning, because whether we want to discuss it or not, everywhere I go, when I talk to people, it's garbage, garbage, garbage. So, Mr. Mayor, Alfred, it's nice to have you for the second time. I hope we're going to have you back.
Yes.
Alfred, let's start with garbage, garbage, garbage. You've been taking some beating everywhere you go.
Well, like I said, like you've said, you talk about garbage, you talk about the issue of the garbage situation. You also mentioned Akash, whom I did recognize him today, but I didn't really realize he's the same person.
Yeah, doing his garbage thing.
That was doing this.
Man wants to embarrass you.
This promotion, and I've been to other countries around the world. I even just left Lima on a climate change program or forum.
And there's garbage
I see garbage all over the place. I mean, I'm not saying that gives us a right to not have to treat with the issue. And it's not that for a want of effort, that we're not doing that as a council. We've been doing our part. I'm a councillor. I'm the mayor of the city of Georgetown. I have an administration that is below me, that we have to treat with. Even though I'm in between council, I'm the chief interlocutor between the administration and the council. I have been imploring on the administration to do the job. I don't know what they expect, or what you expect, for me to go and pick up a spade and start spading the thing up. If I'm paying, or we are paying contractors over $20-something million to pick up the garbage, and they're not picking up the garbage. And I move into the council to treat with it, and people are trying to protect these same contractors. Councillors are trying to do that. From the government side, are trying to protect them. These are the kind of challenges I have. In addition to that, we spend another, outside of $23 million that we spend every month to treat with garbage. We have another $7 to $10 million we spend on the administration, or on the council solid waste department, which include Walton Ryan as director, and another gentleman named Rollins, and others to deal with matters. And we have sweeper cleaners with 30 persons, sweeper cleaners and orderlies around the road. I had to upbraid the Mr. Rollins and others at the last statutory as to exactly what they're doing. I've just asked him to provide us a schedule, who walk on this street, what happened here, how these things happen, so that is provided to all councils, so the councils will understand who really they said to walk in at these different points. So we spend another $10 million. So in total, about $33 to $35 million we spend on garbage and picking up garbage. Maybe it might not be adequate enough, but it is good money spent on a particular situation. And here was the reality: we don't get back no money from that department. They don't generate any money in any way or fashion. All they do is like an ambulance, wah, 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 all the time. And I'm saying to you that we do our work. We do our work as councillors, but we have an administration that's supposed to treat with matters and supposed to deal with those matters. And they're not doing what it's supposed. Maybe they're not managing it as properly as they should. I even said to Mr. Rollins, because Mr. Walt is on leave, that maybe if I should take the responsibility, give me 1 month to administer your staff, and let me decide how the staff is allocated and what it's supposed to do. I'm sure I'll get a better job than you're doing. So while my role as mayor and as councillor is a director role, or a role above the fray, I have an administration who's supposed to do their job. Let me give you a classic. You know, they had a cleanup the other day by the government on the 17th, right?
I was out there.
Right. I've been out myself to evaluate the situation and help out with the soldiers and so on and so forth. And I'm saying to you that I'm appreciative of that situation, and I'm intend to piggyback on that situation. So regardless of what, I take it as a credit, to the council. The fact remains here that I would have visited a number of spots, because that's why, as people send me stuff, you might not have been sending me, but many persons send me a number of sites and this. I've sent those information to the solid waste director or the deputy, who is Mr. Rollins. I would have been doing that up to the meeting of the 12th. I came to the statutory meeting of the 12th, spoke to him right there and then about certain sites that are not moved, why they now move. His claim to me was that some people burn the site, and I can't put burn material in the truck, which will then be taken to the cell. I said, so, but somehow it got moved, it got to be put somewhere. Lo and behold, these same sites torn up on the list of sites that the government were dealing with in relation to the cleanup exercise. And the same Mr. Rollins torn up at those sites with with truck and excavator to throw the same material that he said can't go in no truck to take to the cell or the landfill site. This is the kind of contradiction. This is the kind of situation we have. So sometimes I wonder if the administration who we give resources to are working against the council to make us look bad. That's my point on that issue.
The Chief Justice in the general election said that the Chief Election Officer cannot do what he wants. He's not a Lone Ranger, like Mr. Rollins is a Lone Ranger.
Well, it's not only Rollins. They're members of the administration that are doing stuff that are supposed to be carrying out the decisions of the council. Likewise, I think you've hit a particular point there. These administration, even from time to time, when we try to discipline them, we try to upbraid them, we try to suspend them, we try to move for dismissal, which is we could recommend it. When we do so, local government commission gone and play politics. I am not here, as you all know, I got the time for play politics. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to get on with it. I came from a business environment because I'm wired in a certain way to deal with issues and to get certain things done. I'm not into this kind of flimsy back and forth or who do this or who point a finger. Let us find bipartisan way to collaborate. Let's find ways to be able to deal with issues. But is it that the bigger hand of government want to influence those officers because they are local government officers, and also when we put systems in place or make decisions to cause them to deal with the issue, they intervene at the local government level and cause, because there is a majority there from the government side, and not to have those persons punished. That is one of the reasons why we'll keep on getting a nasty issue. So when you go and post your stuff in the future, ensure you post it with the understanding of all the facts.
Well, I'll tell you.
So when you're pointing the finger to the council.
No, I don't point finger to the council.
I'm saying you let the administration know that they're bubbling.
Yeah. Well, since you're on that point, Freddie, let me come in here.
They're bubbling.
When Garbage City started, it was because somebody had brought something to my attention that there was a pile of garbage in front of the Georgetown Hospital Accident Emergency Center. Well, I hear about this thing, I decided to go and show. Mr. Mento, when I showed up there, it was not a garbage pile, it was a dump site, massive dump site. And I decided I was gonna, now this, I hate to see garbage about the place like everybody else, but if as a media personnel, I can use my influence and my ability to do something about it, then that's what I do. On every one of my show that I did, and we've done 9 episodes so far, I've always said, don't blame the mayor and the city council, don't blame the government, blame the citizens. And now let me bring something to your attention.
Well, I didn't watch 9 of the episodes. I probably watched one, the first one, and I didn't watch it right out because these kind of things could really...
I'm going to send you the rest of you should watch it.
These kind of things could what?
Exasperate.
Tell me so, could
So I look at it, I see it, I deal with it. I'm like, okay, I know I have to treat it. I want to answer you on that before you go on to your next thing as it relates to that particular site. It's not like if I haven't been addressing it. That particular site, I talked to the Walton Orion.
Right.
I tell him like it is. He claiming, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go on private property. So I said, we have to do something about it. You have to clear it at the end of the day and find a way. He's saying that as a council, we shouldn't do that. I said, but the pile keep getting higher and higher. Let us do something about it and let us look to find the owner. He says some doctor owned the place.
Yeah, that's what he told me, yeah.
And that we should try to get to the person. I said that you want me to get to the person? You, as the administration, do your due diligence to be able to get to the bottom of this issue and let me start this. But the fact remains that you should clear the place and whatever. But just like central government, we are a government that has authority, dominion, and control. Deal with it. Sort it out. But you left the whole thing. You keep on allowing the pile to go for central government to come and clean it. And that's what central government did.
Right.
On the 17th.
I was there. I have videos of it.
Yeah.
Now, on that same day, I went to several sites. And one of the sites that I covered was at North Road and Light Street. there were some soldiers out there cleaning the place. So I'm beautifully done. I went back.
Road and Light Street.
Yeah, I went back last week. When I went back last week, I was
Appalled.
I was not appalled, but I was kind of taken back. There was a burnt little pile there. I have the video because we did it on Garbage Street. And I'm saying that somebody to bring this back here, Mr. Mentor.
Yes.
I was there this morning. This show is pre-recorded. I was there this morning, and there's a truckload of garbage here. I kid you not. Within, and you know who did this? It is the people within the environs there. It is not the city council. It is not the government. There's no minister, no mayor, no councillor. It is the people within the community. How are we addressing that? Because for me, those people should be in jail who showed that thing there.
That's what I'm saying. So what we've been doing, we've been moving apace with this issue because it's not we've spoken to the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce concerning their members who are part of the business community. So we are working with that. We believe that just like ordinary citizens in their various areas where Freddie lives, you gotta have a bin and you gotta allow the people to come and pick it up in a bin. We believe that receptacles should be a must in those areas as well, and that they must provide that. So we've just moved at the level of the council to be able to cause those persons to be able to be placed in reserve. But that other issue that you talk about, that small indiscriminate issue of people constantly doing stuff, is an issue that we have to prosecute. We've been talking with one of our premier telecommunication company. We've been looking at some partnership where we could probably have cameras and so on and so forth around the place, placed at these hot spots, so to speak, and we will have someone monitoring those hotspots in a collaborative way to be able to eliminate this issue. But the fact remains is prosecution is one, education is another.
That's right.
So you have to find ways to educate the people, educate them as to what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to go about doing this stuff, and to get them to have that buy-in. Because if they don't buy in, Mentor, the councillors, the administration are constantly be chasing people with garbage. And as you said it, it's not for want of not trying or doing our work. These things are happening. And as I said it earlier, we spend over 30 million to almost 35 million cleaning and clearing garbage all the time. And we still intend to put some more investment in the department and also make some other resources available to deal with this. So we constantly deal with it, but we just can't keep on clearing. We gotta start locking up some real people.
Man.
And Critic was at my office one of these days when we had an interview based on some issue related to garbage, and he said his words to me, Mentor, until I see you take one of them very prominent people around the place, or a few, or not even one, a few, and walk them to the magistrate court and get them prosecuted. Only then I can think you get serious about this. But you know what I'm saying? We're heading in that direction. And I want the people out there to know that. I want everyone, because they're going to be listening to this program or seeing this program, that we're heading in that direction very shortly, where we'll be moving to treat with the businesses and all those other persons who we feel violating the city, and are going to be locking them up.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
I'm with you.
Yes.
But I find, in fairness to the discussion on garbage, I find because Georgetown is a capital city and it has about 200,000 people, people see this garbage and tend to look at the genesis of it from an emotional aspect. But you know what we found out? By holding a call-in program every Friday, and this is where the holistic approach to the infamy of garbage has to be looked at. So people say garbage in Georgetown. Yeah. And on the call-in program, we have got not dozens, but 18 complaints about garbage piling up, looking ugly. It's ugly, and it's outside of the jurisdiction of
all over the country. All over the country.
So the garbage, it's a national issue.
So the garbage is a national thing. Yeah. But I think when people drive, you know what? I always remember, Mentor.
Yes.
How the garbage was bad in Georgetown. It was making Guyana look bad about 30 years ago. And then when about 20 years ago, when I became a lecturer at the Barbies Institute at UG, because we from UG had to go and teach at Barbies. When I saw that garbage by the Rosignol Stelling, I said, Georgetown
As an innocent angel. Yeah.
And people been calling in. So what we have to discuss is garbage in Guyana.
National level. Yes.
Garbage in Guyana, because
I agree with you.
Mr. Rollins and Mr. Walton aren't responsible for the mountain of garbage in Lusignan.
They are not.
No.
As a matter of fact, they're not
So
responsible.
we have to be fair to people.
I'm saying also they're not even responsible for the garbage in the city. They're responsible for the removal of the garbage.
Yes.
But it's the citizens, Freddie.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you,
Yes.
I do in a show and I go wrong, and everybody you talk to, who think problem? You know, everybody saying on the street, it's the citizens.
Yes.
It's the citizens, and it's a fact.
but-
You go to some. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
You go to some places that has restaurants, right? And people in the community, Haxalal is one of those places, right in front there. They throw, the man called me, I say, who you think bringing this? You know who bringing these garbages? All these market people around here. There's the bus park. They throw the garbage there. It's the wanton and indiscriminate disposal.
You see, well, I will correct that in relation to having at least 100% of the people providing receptacles and providing a garbage plan. And that is a collaboration between us and the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and to some extent the Private Sector Commission. But I want to go back to a point that you kind of just made that we didn't go on to. Many of these persons that living in Guyana, because remember we said just now, this is not a city problem.
No, it's a national.
This is a national problem, and the government and us got to hold hands and try and deal with this issue. I'm going to do as much as I could at the level of the council as mayor and to work with the various stakeholders and deal with it. But what we're not remembering is many of these persons going to travel, going to United States, to Europe, to Caribbean, and so on and so forth. And when they go there, they see the place clean. And what they do now, when they walk with the little cup or the little bottle, they're going to ask you, could you say where a bin is? These same people here, ain't going to throw it wherever because of their wherever. They find a place or receptacle to deal with this issue. So again, we got to get the right culture, get the right set of education, find ways in which to solve this thing, and to get a buy-in from everyone to be able to deal with this issue. But we will take the lead at the level of the city to be able to do what we have to do. And we hope that it catches on throughout the NDCs and other tongues and so on and so forth. And nationally, the government put some, we all have a particular way of enforcing a number of issues. And I want to also say this to the government. This round, usually they've always been about city council, this and that. This is the first time I've seen them not state that this is a city problem. They've made their press releases, and the press releases clearly said that this is a national issue that we all have to deal with, and this is a national cleanup exercise, and we're not pointing finger at any particular one set of NDC or tongue or whatever. They have chosen to remain clear of that, and I must commend them for that.
Well, it has to be a national issue. My wife was going to visit her. We went to Good Hope to visit her visiting cousin. And I think it was the first time I went to Good Hope. So Good Hope, we turned into Good Hope where GPL have all these high voltage things. And as soon as we turned into Good Hope, we had to make a left. And when we made the left, I'm telling you, I swear, my parents' grave, I said to my wife, was this in Good Hope? If you see these old fridges, no one, in fairness to intellectual debate, no one should say it's a Georgetown problem.
Right. I'm glad that we're on the same page.
But here's what I think, Mr. Mentor. Georgetown can become the catalyst for national beautification and the aesthetics of this country. You're in real estate, and you want places to look good, because when the places look good,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
The value of things goes up.
I'm glad I think we covered or exhausted a number of issues relating to the garbage, and I think we've we're on the same page as to what need to be done. And since you're on that, and you're talking about real estate and my my background in real estate, so to speak, many of the businesses, they in touch with me. Many of them they speak to us about vending, because that is also an issue. We have since, or I have since, worked and got lucky with some persons that are reached out to us, and they reach out to us based on a support of the diplomatic community, which in this case the British High Commission. We were able to reach a particular person who wants to assist in, and they have been assisting in our feasibility studies of our markets, because in the sense of looking at where Stabroek is, understanding how we could develop it, how much more vending spots we could have in there. We were also looking at the bazaar, which is at the site, and then we also have the Vendors Arcade Mall, which is just opposite Republic Bank on that side. You would know that place. So we're looking at. Plus, we're also looking at the study of the border market green. So with all of these studies and all of these plans and all of these programs, which are all transformational, and to bring about that kind of city that we need. We're a big oil country. I see how much is it? How much $7 million a day, US dollars we earning from oil.
It's a couple billions daily.
It's a couple billions daily. Now, vending has been a social issue, but we want to also empower those people socially as well.
Right.
And vending, when you think about vending, the vendors themselves, husband, wife, children and everything, but person benefited from that. There's people send their children to school.
Yeah, the livelihoods depend on that.
They pay the mortgages with that. They pay the car payments with that. They pay courts and so on with those things, with that same vending. I'm saying we ain't talking about displacing, but what we will do in order for us to be able to become or look like the developed city that we need to be in a few years, we have to be able to get those markets up and running. They're aged assets. But while they're aged assets, we have to put systems in place as to how we treat with it. I have been working with those persons to provide that study, to provide how we can treat with the wharf and everything else that fell down, or and so on. So we're dealing with those issues to have thousands of persons reallocated from the street to those things, so that after a while, there wouldn't be any vendors on the streets. The vendors will be where vending's supposed to be. So we are working on those plans. What we are hopeful is that government buy into those plans with us, which I think they're talking. We're having those kind of conversations. And this kind of transformational development need to cut, let's call it political sides. It's something that will bring the kind of relief. It will also make you look good, and you can't be having all of these vendors all over the place, and this kind of ad hoc approach to thing. And you talking about a city or a country that is there's an oil country. You don't see that kind of things happening anywhere else. So funds has to be directed to those feasibility studies and to those markets and to those places, so that we could have that transformational approach to dealing with these issues. And it can't be one that is up new on PPP or PNC and PPP. We need to stop this baloney. It ought to stop, and we ought to treat with it, and we ought to be realistic about it. Because if we could take hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to go and take it to Gaisuko, which you're still helping out people and their welfare, you ought to look after the city in that level, where vending is a way of life. It's a way of paying bills. It's a way that people have been operating and doing, but we need to empower those persons, so this generation, the other generation is well received, and those stalls and those businesses that the people have that have been sustaining them over time could be encouraged. It could turn out to be a good vote employee, but the central government has to see the benefits and weigh the pros and the cons. Yes, the council will get some aspect of it, But sometimes they say who execute the job also, have a benefit,
Well,
so to speak.
I got one for you that should make you uneasy. But before we go to that, he did 9. He has to take his camera now within a holistic framework. He has to take his camera now to garbage villages. His thing named Garbage City.
Thank you.
So you gotta go to Enmore, go up. So the 9 episodes of Georgetown.
Yes. Can't
Have
focus
come
on
to
that.
an end.
Can't
Have come
focus
to
on
an
that.
end.
That's-
So we shut him up. We shut him up.
No. I've changed the name, and I the last 2
Last one I
episodes,
know.
Garden City.
Oh, well, here we
Because now, after Garbage City, here's why we say Garden City now. Here's what we say, guys. Let's change this. Let's change the approach. Let's change the approach and use a different. Let's see if psychologically we can impact. Because
all right. But here we can do. Keep garbage, but take out city and garbage village.
Yeah.
So next week we going to Enmore and them place. Now,
so garbage issues in Guyana.
yes. We got to spread it wide.
we managed to. You managed to shut. You managed to shut him up.
No.
You managed to shut him up.
It's only because you asked me to.
You managed to shut him up.
No, but
Yeah.
I got one for you. This is heartbreaking. Those vendors at Border Market, after 11 o'clock, going to the uncivilized hours, are at the mercy of robbers, man.
yeah.
Man, even the people appeal to the president and he went there.
Yes.
You ever pass there at the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? It's a free fall. They just stop with a motorcycle, rob the people and gone.
I'm a man always on the road, so I'm usually a person. That's why I could tell these persons, the various.
You will move on, didn't know.
The man is go.
You was go to Bamba Mali and drink?
Not sometimes.
Bamba
Sweet
Mali.
point.
So Sweet Point or whatever you call it. But I'm just saying to you is that
Bamba Mali.
I'm
You
usually
see nothing there?
Yeah, we sit and have a drink, yes.
Good.
Yeah. But what I'm saying to you is that I could be able to tell a lot of persons a lot of things because I travel. I want to see the city when it's quiet. And this is how you're able to visualize different things, and this is how you could be able to figure out solutions. I do that Sundays. I do that afternoons, wherever. Sometimes I go to church in the afternoons. So if I go to church in the afternoon, just before I do that, I drive around. Just after that, so you could be able to spot different things. In the night, sometime coming home a little late, I drive around and observe this and take out photograph and send it to them at whatever time in the morning. Let them know that I've seen this and I've seen this. So by the time the next morning, when I
administrative.
I don't got time with them. I tell them like it is. I send stuff to them, let them know that I know what's going on. Me no person that you could think you can. Anyway, I'm a street man.
Old head.
You know what I mean? I learn
Opening batsman for Guyana 19 team, you said, right?
Thank you. And when you open batting,
Right,
you gotta lead. You gotta be able to.
No, let me cut him. This man know what he's talking about.
Yes.
You know, the last time I saw this man, let me tell you what he did. And I need to tell viewers this. The last time I saw this man, he is a man around the place. I saw him at Demico on Main Street at Comino. And that man took out, it was a little past the Christmas time. And like he go to Demico, the quick soft place in Main Street, often to the people. And I was there. He took out, that used to name Arapan, he took out $10,000 each and give it to 3 workers. Wow. In the that was serving. He said to them, I haven't seen.
See, it's Christmas time. I treated with the others, and I treat across the board everyone.
He knew them, and so I was right next to him, so I thought he would have passed the 10,000. I thought he would have passed it.
He didn't know what for me.
Okay. Well, after this interview, he is a man. Is he eligible?
He is a man. He is a man around the place. Yeah. So you continue, but your night moves. There's a movie named Night Moves.
I like. So coming back to the point with those persons who were robbed or.
Man, that you have to do something.
The fact of the matter remain that the president paid a visit. I saw when he paid a visit, as that was when I was visiting, heading to Peru for this forum. And he also spoke about the vendors there, and they tell him about security, and he needed to treat with. Now, our constabulary of the council are responsible for our markets, responsible for securing the premises and dealing with matters. We don't go to the extra extent as it relates to we don't have enough to be able to monitor.
You're not equipped for that.
To that, right. So when I saw the president there, I was actually happy because I was like, oh, great. We've had these challenges. We know what we do. We are working with our resources to be able to treat with it. But you are now here from a national standpoint. And you're here from a national standpoint to address this issue and to address these particular challenges that we're having. And that he made some decisions right there and then to be able to have an outpost. Now, he made a decision to have the outpost 2 weeks prior, and then 2 weeks after the people robbed the place. So what I did indicate to the statutory at the time is that we've been working with the police at Stabroek. We've been working with police not only about putting in an outpost, or what outpost could see or what outpost could do. We've been working with them to establish these CCTV cameras, I think some pixel something. And they have took the lead to do that. So the tarmac itself
will be monitored.
We're live.
The president went to Border Market.
Well, he went to Border Market. I'm talking about Stabroek.
There's one of them with
So what we're creating now is a situation where we can have these cameras, these live cameras, where you could, as you walk in, you could watch the camera and see yourself. So we're setting it up in all these different angles, and to also deal with the tarmac itself, where persons have those kind of a tent. We tell them some of them will have to have umbrellas because we want to see through everything and understand what's up. And the same approach, when we have that pilot sorted out there, we're moving to Border Market. But we'll try our best to move even faster because
but cameras don't stop people from
identify.
No. The thing about these cameras now,
face recognition.
You'll be able to pick up. So even though those guys right away, we know who is it, whatever. But if we have the cameras perched at different points on these high, it's not them ordinary cameras, it's them things with them.
Yeah, with face recognition and so on.
So when we set that up in collaboration with the police, it will surely help. It will surely cause persons maybe to think about what they have to do and maybe find ways around the situation. But the fact remains, it will be there for everybody to see and for you to be able to revert back to it, to be able to find those persons who are committing these crimes.
But why in the night from 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock? Like Impact at Breakdown, Impact based at Breakdown have these motorcycle policemen with bulletproof vests, and they ride around the place in the day and in the night. Why can't armed city constabulary just do the little motorbike thing around Border Market every hour? It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent.
Listen, not a lot of. We've moved to have additional persons to work within the constabulary, and we moved to employ persons. We put out these are vacancies, and a number of persons applied. But after we break it down to wherever, we end up with a 15. We get based on the requirements or whatever. We even lower the requirements to allow for them to come in. So we got a 15-yard day. We're working to have another 15 or whatever. And as you rightfully said, we may have to, outside of securing the locations, we'll probably have to have a motorbike gang. So I'll take that recommendation to the council.
Yeah, Impact has them around the place.
Some way in which we could maybe have at least 2 or something like that at the various locations, at least Border Market and Stabroek Market. Wherever we will look at the numbers, and we'll have maybe a team that will deal with that, and also that team that will have radios and so on and so forth that they could communicate with the base and so on. So it's something that we look at, because there's also a base at Border Market itself that deals with security, but we will surely have to look at something else outside of that. But central government and the national police ought to play their part in this as well.
Let me quote you. I quoted you for one of my columns 6 years ago. Your name, the deputy mayor was in the title of you said to me, and Ubaj Narang, the former mayor, said to me, more than 50%, I remember it vividly, you didn't say dozens or a lot, more than 50% of big businesses around Georgetown do not pay rates and tax. Now that is ghoulish, bizarre, weird, pathological, because if you only stop at a red light, go through a red light, you get locked up. If you only if you pay you're sending your PAYE, GRA. How is it that poor men are paying me more than 50% of big business? Why aren't you taking these people to court? You have a legal officer. What he or she does every day, draft up the papers and take the people to court, let them climb the court step and defend themselves.
We ain't got a legal officer, but we employ legal people to do their job. But that particular point that you mentioned there, what we've done is found different measures as to how to treat with it first. Because before you move to the part execution of foreclosing on people's rates and taxes, we choose to work with measures first, where we started with a special circumstance. We had amnesties,
right,
and we had different amnesties along the way. We have payment plans and so on and so forth. So we've exhausted all of those. So now
next step is the court. People could not pay away. You pay car insurance.
Yeah.
You get fitness for your car.
Yes.
So isn't that a legal requirement? You don't got to pay rates and taxes? You pay rates and taxes?
Yes, I obviously.
I pay rates and taxes.
So my thing is that for rates and taxes, even though you have, I said it on a program the other day, rates and taxes, while it's a civic responsibility, it's compulsory based on whatever, and it's stretched out if you have to prosecute the people or move to the court. It's not like GPL, like a turn off your lights and we ain't got no lights, or water, or like you said, fitness or insurance and so on, which police stop you for, or if you get in an accident, if you don't have an insurance, it messes you up. So we've exhausted a number of scenarios. Where we're at now, I will let you know, is that we are moving to send out these demands, because you can't move to take someone to court if you never give them notice. So under the law, you have to provide notices. So the notice or the demand of people who haven't been paying or whatever, we'll be sending out those notices. And what I've said to the council and the members of the finance committee particularly is that, yes, we want to send out these notices, but I don't want the department themselves deal with that. Because next thing you hear, they dump it in some bin, or it didn't reach the people, then I'm going to have another challenge. So we've moved to have an arrangement with the GPO to allow for these things to be sent, and that there has been, there's the, we call it thing where people send out
you get registered mail.
So there's a record.
So they have to sign.
Of it being collected and it's being served. So these are the kind of steps. Remember, I got to think through these things. It's not happening overnight, but I hear you. So we're working on that. We're having that kind of a situation in place, and we're not moving to the extreme level of part execution. There are many levels of how you get your monies, and we're moving through the magistrate court to deal with petty debt, and I think there's another aspect of it under the section. I think the section is to section 220 or 219 or something like that, as to how you go about dealing with that. So we will be moving under this section of petty debt or restraint warrant, that's the word I was looking for, to deal with these issues. So as long as we're taking those steps through the magistrate court to allow for persons to be prosecuted, or in this case the matters to be addressed by the court, and then we'll find workable solutions as to how people are able to pay their debt, either on a payment plan or whatever. But those different lawyers that we will employ to do that, it's not a case where we're working out an arrangement with them that it doesn't have to cost the council fees. So those are things that we're working out so that the persons who are indebted to us, even though we're carrying them to court, we don't want a situation where those kind of situations. So the lawyer will be able to work those situations out to be able to not have them cost us, but based on what they owe us and the understanding of what they owe us, there will be some kind of a discount to allow for the lawyer to have his piece, and we move on and we get a settlement on those matters. So we are near that process. It was only decided within the last 2 meetings, and we're moving now to the sending out of those notices. So within another month or so, you'll see a different kind of an action, and hopefully have those persons honor their obligations so the council could provide more services.
You did say to me 7 years ago when we spoke, you're losing billions. You didn't say
billions. It's billions.
That has to
government do big billions too, you know. So government is not only, but I don't know that I can carry the government to court, but maybe I will hope that myself and the finance minister always meet at different forums, and I'm hopeful that we could honor, have a quid pro quo arrangement to be able to settle whatever they have outstanding for us, and so we could take it from there. But they're also culpable in this situation.
You spoke about, look, I'm happy to, first of all, let me say this, I'm happy, me and Mr. Kissoon always talk about, we support vending, and so I'm happy to hear that you're regularizing and standardizing that.
Yes.
But you spoke earlier about the educational programs. I believe that, and I'm sorry to go back to garbage again, but it's my thing.
You like
but
it.
I don't like it. But what educational programs and public awareness programs are council looking towards because I believe garbage disposal in this country as a whole has become a culture. It's cultural. It's not somebody thinking, oh, me like this body, I don't throw the garbage anymore. It's instinctive.
Yeah.
So what has council been doing as it relates to and the administration of the council, of course, as it relates to public awareness campaigns?
Well, the department, the solid waste department and others, along with the council administration itself, has been looking at things, how we could frame a policy or frame a way in which we deal with these issues. We know for sure we went through this kind of a situation before, so it's not something that we have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
So we'll be picking up on where we left off, or the ideas that were fleshed out at that time that will still be germane to what is relevant now. So we're looking at getting up that information and to set a real kind of a fleshed out kind of a meeting, and also have other stakeholders involved. What we also believe, and I believe then, and I still believe now, is the issue as it relates to where we need to start. And where we need to start is in the schools, because the kids learn faster, and the kids will demand of their parents to do the right thing, where to dump, how to dump, and if the parents kind of keep on telling the kids keeps telling their parents, that is wrong and that is this, and we keep on reminding them that I learned this in school and we should do this and that kind of thing. So we believe at the most foundational level, it should start with the kids. It should start from the schools, and the whole thing roll right up to other programs. So we will have something that will roll out to the various schools, because that's one of the things we did before and it worked. And we'll also figure out what else we need to do outside of treating it at the foundational level, what we could also do at the other levels so that we could be able to bring relief to the situation.
The town clerk was a guest on this program, and she sat in the very seat and said, you and her have a very good, refreshing working relation. She said it wasn't like that before. But she did say that, I asked her straight up about the work environment at City Hall, and she said it can be testing the people you have to work with, and the politicized attitude they bring to the administration of the city council. You're a brand new mayor. You find a testing environment.
Well, I've had it. Well, it's the job.
You want too positive about Mr. Rollins' attitude.
The job itself is every day something new happens. It's never a dull moment. So every day you get up. Last night you go to sleep, whatever. Tomorrow is another thing, telling somebody come with this, and which leads to something I will speak to just now. But these are the kind of situations that happen. I'm never bothered about a fight or bothered about a struggle. I love contentious kind of a situation.
I've known you a long time. You're not an aggressive person at all.
Right, but what I'm saying, contentiousness doesn't have to be met with contentiousness. Contentiousness could be met with reason. So and diplomacy. And diplomacy. So I've brought a lot of reasoned approach or out of the box view on a number of things. So probably one of the reasons why myself and her have not had that kind of a situation, because I look at it, I deal with it, whatever, and I don't come along any political lines. I deal with a realistic, as you use a man as one talk about all them fancy theories. I'm a realist. I'm a realism kind of a person who brings that kind of realistic approach to the kind of a situation. So I think based on that, most of the times, I would say 90% of the time, we could be able to have that kind of relationship between the council and the administration to be able to bring the kind of results to the people. So it's again, you constantly work to be able to deal with the issues. You constantly find new adventures along the way, but I'm not fazed by it, and I will never be fazed by it, because I am always, again, as I said, think outside the box, looking for new ideas and looking for real solutions so that we could bring those solutions to the people.
But I find this is a golden opportunity in your mayorship, to previous mayorship. I mean, I live in Guyana. My job is to study politics. I find this is a glorious opportunity, given your temperament and your character, given what I know of you. This is a right time for a meeting of minds between the mayor and the political the corridors of power. Because I think you, around the table, you remind me, your style remind me of just what happened in the GTU. The president say, look, I negotiated this thing as a nationalist, as a Guyanese. I wasn't concerned with the political intentions. I wasn't concerned with that. And so the GTU, Guyanese Teachers Union, and the government have now sealed an agreement. You come in that genre. This should be a right time for the meeting of minds between you and the government.
I have been extending the olive branch to the president and his other cabinet ministers on a number of things. We have cordial discussions on a number of matters, and I believe that my bipartisan approach to dealing with matters is one that, there's a give and take. We have things on the table, we discuss whatever, there's a number of quid pro quo arrangements that we need to work out. You need this, we need this, whatever, and find real solutions. And I think, as you rightfully said, I'm the best man at this time to be able to find those solutions that are workable for both sides and workable for the best interest of the people. So I strongly believe that the time has come for us to put politics aside and allow for us to be able to deal with these various matters that we have before us. And whatever we do, it redounds to the benefit of the people, because that's what we hear about. We are servants of the people, and we ought to behave like servants of the people rather than be thinking that we happen to be a top-down kind of a thing. Yes, I might be the mayor who holds that office and has responsibility for the city, but I was elected by the citizenry to be able to do a job, and we owe it to them to be able to find those solutions, and rather than be taking sides on matters. So I always keep on pledging that kind of a solution and pledging that kind of way in which we could solve these issues and to bring the real benefits to those people.
As an opening batsman for Guyana, you're still batting with a straight bat in politics.
Well, yes, I there from time to time. I've said tough things. I don't want to have to repeat it. The government know where I stand on a number of matters. I tell them like it is. I call the president out for whatever. I call the vice president out for the ministers out for different things. Even like I said recently, when the president went to the border market and talk about shedding the border market, I was wondering what we talking about. I said to him, my response based at the level of the council is that in 2024, you can't tell me about shedding the border green. You can't be telling me about putting a shed here. This is a place that needs to be transformed. If we want to move to, if it's a temporary measure, I could understand. But we need to be looking at real solutions for Stabrook, real solution for the bazaar, real solutions for the vendors arcade mall, real solutions for drainage issues, real solutions that will redound to the benefit of the people. I go to functions and forums around the place, and I lobby to those forums. Even the last forum I went to, which is climate related, as well as water resilience and so on and so forth. And we are a city that has that kind of challenges. As somebody said, we are a Venice in its own way, with all the water that bound and surround us, from either the Atlantic to the, what's called back there? The Conservancy to the Demerara River. We're tied into all of that. But we need to, and we are also below sea level. I let them understand that these conversations and these discussions we have, I just don't want it to be a discussion. We need to have something formed that takes us from here to here, and then from here to here. So what is crucial and necessary, and these various forums, IDB sponsor them, and other World Bank people and other people spend significant monies to have us there. Not to just talk, but to have working committees moving forward that will allow for you to have technical support, at least for the start. So I can't go and take my little or minimum resources and put it into one set of feasibility or studies to be able to do whatever. We could use technical support from those IDB people, from those World Bank people, to deal with these matters as we bring up these projects for them to deal with. So I think I was very firm on that. I spoke about those issues and I let them understand it. So they are now will be bringing me and other cities around the globe into those kind of committees that will allow for that thing to gain momentum, and for you to be able to, it must be able to redound to the city or wherever you represent, so you could get the kind of support to be able to produce these kind of studies in order for you to determine if you got enough money to do it, or if you need grant funding to do it, or if central government going to help you, or whoever is going to help you to deal with these issues so that we could bring, again, relief to the people.
Okay.
Look, before time run out, I want to ask you this. Opening batsman, as you go out there, you look at the wicket, you know what kind of day you know what kind of day is going to be out there. Because when you look at that glass, you can see reflection.
I wonder if people Guyana know you represented Guyana on the 19th.
Yeah, cricket opening batsman. You said with Era and Shanda Paul, right?
Yeah. Really like playing spin or pace anyway.
Opening batsman got bad pace.
So one of the things as the opening batsman is when you go to the ground, and my little son actually plays as well. So he plays for DCC. He also played for Guyana under 15 level.
Oh, your son played nationally under 15?
Yeah, he's also still playing. So he's still 16. So what has happened is that you have to go and establish. You go to the ground, you check the condition of the ground, you're going to check the wicket. You check and see if you got any kind of moisture. So and I wasn't just opening batsman, I was also captain.
Okay.
So I used to lead the team. So I got go and spin the toss. I be able to check and analyze the situation, analyze the condition.
You have brought that to administration.
You analyze what the weather condition looking like. You analyze your bowlers and figure out what is going on. You look at the other opposing team. So all these kind of strategies and stuff that I've developed and I've honed it and I've used it now in my public life.
That's why I want to ask you this question. Yeah. Based on your analytics and what you're seeing around here, paint a vivid but practical picture of what Georgetown should be like and when you think it can happen.
They're going to take up our time.
No. Very short. I mean, it's in closing.
In closing, well,
At least for me.
just for you, but I got something I'd like to add.
You add.
But let me
let
me speak to this issue that you just talked about. I would think in a real sense, Georgetown will need about 4 or 5 years in which to get to that point. What I envisage is that even though you did indicate when we started the program certain timelines the mayors have, there's still the situation where mayors are elected every year at some council meeting. That has to change at the level of the local government system, where if you elect a team, you elect a whatever, if the council has found fault in that mayor, they can move under the law to have no confidence in that person. But if a mayor is elected, it shouldn't be every year you gotta go for some election and some anointing by by the president to affirm you. So it should, so that technically any mayor worth their salt would be able to put together a plan. And that plan doesn't have to be a plan of the mayor. Because remember, the mayor is the first among equals under the old Latin phrase primus inter pares. So you speak of, yes, you're the first among equals, we're all equals, but you still get from these various constituency councils what they would like to see. And that mayor now marries all of that into something that they could project for a 3-year period or a 4-year period.
Yeah, to say our time is coming. Is something you wanted to say?
Yes. Outside of that, I only recently we had a situation where last statutory, which is 2 days ago, we treated with an issue concerning some rating, institutional rating. The council has different rating. You have residential rating, commercial rating, land-only rating, and there's also, I think, institutional rating. Now, we have been looking at non-governmental organizations and other social welfare places. So the political parties, all political parties, there's a definition of what political party is and where they're classified. I know for myself, political parties fall as an institution. It's a non-profit kind of an organization, and it's a social welfare kind of a thing of relationship, because I'm part of a political party, and people are all part of the political party who end up doing things for the benefit and the best interests of the people. So we moved to have an institutional rate policy for the political parties where they should be classified to pay 25%, which is what is our current institutional rate. And that is something that I wanted to let the viewers understand the rationale behind us treating with it, because there were some other opposing views on this issue, and we wanted to ensure that it's not something that even started now. It started even under Hamilton Green's leadership, where they would have had this kind of a rates gazetted. So we were just trying to have everybody fit into a particular structure or criteria so that they could benefit from those things across the board. And this is not about one political party, all political parties.
Thanks for being with us. I know you said that there's never a dull moment at City Council. It is one of the most controversial institutions in Guyana. Yeah. So based on that summation, I'm sure we're going to have the need to have you back here in a couple of months.
Definitely.
Alfred, it's always nice to be with you. You're a pleasant personality.
Pleasure.
Thanks for being with us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, good man. Yes.
Thanks for being with us. Our guest this evening was His Worship the Mayor of Georgetown and former opening on the 19 batsman for Guyana, Alfred Mentor. He has said quite some interesting things that I think you need to reflect on about the city. But one thing he has said that we should close with, it's the garbage is not a Georgetown thing. It's a Guyanese thing. It's a national thing problem. Because outside of the jurisdiction of Georgetown, garbage is mounting us. We will see you at our next session. On behalf of the mayor and co-host Akash Persaud, catch you later. Bye-bye.